I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. It's Thursday. All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show where you get both sides on 710 KNUS here in Denver.
And also on AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
Both sides. But Billy and I have been good today about the debates on both sides. We got it really fired up. And we want you to be a part of it as well because there's a new Colorado bill that would mail your ballots even earlier. Democrats are afraid Trump is going to use the post office to somehow block your ballot from getting there, so they want it really early now, not just 22 days ahead of an election, but 29 days. And what gets me on this is that they want to block third parties from being able to do voter roll investigations. So think Judicial Watch, who successfully, for instance, sued the Secretary of State here in Colorado because she had some dead people on the voter rolls and wasn't quickly addressing those. They were successful in their lawsuit. This would now roll back that opportunity. We'll get into all of this and more. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good morning. It is Thursday, 50 and sunny in Denver, 51 in the Springs. Expecting highs in the lower 60s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning. For a new home and heating cooling system, contact your Lennox dealer, Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Our top story.
This was the only seat in the country that we flipped from Democrat to Republican in a blue state. This was the second closest Republican win in the nation in 2024.
Jeff and Billy keep racking them up. Another congressman on the show last hour, Gabe Evans, CD8, knows it's going to be another difficult race this November, but he says he's going to stick with what helped him win last time.
449 votes, and we have a functional one-vote majority right now in the U.S. House. This seat is a significant part of the majority. But, you know, we hold this seat by just focusing on the basic common sense things that Americans want us to focus on, like we just talked about. We're going to put Americans first. We're going to make sure that we're keeping the country safe. We're going to make sure that we're not letting drug dealers and cartels come into our community to sell poison.
And he talked about a lot, including the partial government shutdown. Evans said Republicans are focused on delivering common sense solutions for the American people, and now they just need 2 or 3 or 4, who knows, Democrats to help do the same. Don't hold your breath on that. The U.S. and Iran are holding another round of nuclear talks today in Geneva. We don't need another endless war in the Middle East. Reportedly, Tucker Carlson was at the White House speaking to the president a few days ago, and I pray DJT is listening to him on this.
And he very famously in the 2016 campaign attacked Jeb Bush because of his brother's invasion of Iraq. That was idiotic, he said, and of course he was right. And 23 years later, we know exactly how right he was. That war, which lasted 20 years, waged on behalf of our ally Israel, didn't help the United States. It helped to impoverish the United States and sink this country deeper into debt, to weaken the dollar and destroy a generation of young men.
Amen. The depositions of the Clintons in the House probe of the Epstein investigation start today. The freak show Hillary is being deposed behind closed doors in New York. That is frightening. Anything behind closed doors with her is scary and will be followed by Slick Willie on Friday. The Clintons agreed to the videotape sit down at the 11th hour earlier this month, if you remember, just as the House was set to vote on whether to hold the Clintons in criminal contempt of Congress for skipping their earlier deposition date. The Epstein files are horrific, disgusting, frightening, and I agree with Ted Nugent on social media.
The Satanism that exists in the United States of America right now is is beyond the imagination of an average person. Our brains don't want to go there and accept the level of demonacy that the Jimmy Kimmels and the Hollywood elite and the Uncle Sam elite, these people are pure evil. And I believe that the child sex trafficking is out of control. And I would ask those going after the child sex traffickers, why don't you kill them? Why can't we kill child sex traffickers?
I agree. A threat to the nation. Nuggets run past the Celtics 103-84 last night here in Denver, and the Avalanche skating once again, and they beat the Mammoth in Salt Lake City. They're 38-9-9, rolling. 51 in the Springs, 50 in Denver. That's the latest. I'm Blake Olson. More of the Jeff and Billy Show ahead on News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where you hear both sides. We are the Jeff and Bill Show.
Very mild, but also very windy conditions along the I-25 corridor today, from Denver to Monument Hill down into Colorado Springs and all the way down into Pueblo. We're going to be looking at really border to border, New Mexico to the Wyoming border, strong winds along I-25 as we have powerful jet stream winds streaking from the Pacific into the Rockies. Now, this has been productive overnight. The higher mountains in northern Colorado saw good snow and will see good snow through tonight. That'll help out the snowpack, but snow levels are going to be quite high due to the very mild temperatures in the 60s today, 50s and 60s tomorrow, then well into the 60s for Friday and Saturday as temperatures are going to stay well above average into the weekend. Do be ready for strong gusty winds and mostly cloudy skies. There is a slight chance of a shower tonight as some of that moisture could come off the mountains. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
$710 KNUS in Denver.
And now waking up with AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show where you get both sides. Let's just start sending out the presidential ballots now, should we? Just mail them.
Yeah.
They could sit on your counter for 2 years. Democrats down at the state capitol got a new bill, according to 9 News, that would mail ballots earlier because they're concerned over Trump's interference. President Donald Trump has punished Colorado over the use of mail-in ballots, and now Colorado lawmakers are considering a change to mail ballots by sending them to voters even earlier. A bill to make several election changes in Colorado would also change the timeline for when voters are sent their mail-in ballots. Current law allows ballots to be mailed 22 days ahead of an election. I hate this so much. Even as a campaign guy, I hated this. Because when's the election? When's the election in Colorado?
Yeah, long time.
Right? This thing lasts a month in Colorado. And so what you have to do is, it's like, as a campaign guy, you're almost like on a daily election where you get lists, for instance, of people who have voted and haven't voted, and those that haven't, you got to hit them with more ads. So now you're like, okay, all right, they haven't voted today, I've got to hit them with another mailer. And then they haven't voted today, so I got to hit them with another mailer. You don't have one day. You have an election month in Colorado. They want to expand it from 22 days to 29 days before the election. So a true month. From 22 to 29 days. People are concerned about the Postal Service and how that might be used to slow things down, and so we want to ensure that there is plenty of time to be able to work through that, said State Representative Emily Sirota of Denver. Trump has already punished Colorado, citing the state's use of mail-in ballots as justification for his September announcement that Space Command would move from Colorado Springs to Alabama. In August, ahead of that announcement, Trump criticized mail ballots from the Oval Office. Mail-in ballots are corrupt. You can never have real democracy with mail-in ballots, Trump said. At a rally in Georgia last week, Trump said he only supports mail-in ballots for military members, those who are ill, disabled, or on vacation. Other than that, we don't want mail-in ballots because mail-in ballots, they cheat, Trump said. The change that Colorado is considering by sending ballots out 1 month ahead of an election is to get around any U.S. Postal Service slowdown that could result from the direction of President Trump. We have the contingency plans in place to still get those ballots out to you, even if, for whatever reason, Trump attempts to make any influence of our delivery, said Carly Copps, a Republican Weld County clerk. I think people are rightfully concerned about election interference from the federal government. Really? I haven't heard Trump want to bring this at all. Have you heard him wanting to prevent the Postal Service from being able to deliver ballots?
No, I haven't heard that, but he does spend a lot of time saying that mail-in ballots, as you outlined, are corrupt, are fraudulent. It's strange that then he grants exceptions. So is that the portion of the ballots that's okay to be fraudulent? You know, those people that might be on vacation?
The people behind it with the military and stuff, they tend not to be the cheaters.
Isn't that an assumption?
It wasn't mail-in ballots, it was absentee ballots. We used to do this in the absentee ballots.
Couldn't the military do the same drop box stuffing type things everybody else? I mean, couldn't I go around inside of the barracks and gather up everybody else's ballot and then vote for them and then drop them in a box illegal? I mean, couldn't I? If the idea is the mail-in ballot is so unsecure, why are we allowing it in some areas? That's what I can't figure out in Trump's logic as part of it.
I think those people wouldn't be able to vote at all, right? We used to have absentee ballots, and I think we used to be a rational country that was like, all right, we'll carve out a few exceptions. At this point, we carpet bomb the entire state. People complain about this all the time, that they get ballots for people that don't live in their homes anymore. And we have pushed this entirely out on the state, and they're concerned that the post office might be used as a form to prevent the delivery of ballots. It seems like the conspiracy theories, in my mind, Bill, are on the left side of things.
Well, remember where the origin of this whole election insecurity came from. Yeah, it's not on the left. The whole election insecurity thing, the entire reason this is an issue, is because of a giant conspiracy theory and lie on the right.
They were throwing out there that the elections were rigged long before Trump did.
In
fact, Jimmy Carter put together a whole commission that said mail-in ballots were stupid.
The kernel of the conspiracy that our elections are stolen, the germ of that being accepted by larger portions of Americans than ever before, and in part, a reason that thousands of people joined peacefully and with happiness to break into the Capitol on January 6th is because of that lie. So I'm not going to play the conspiracy theory, mostly this side or that side. Both of them have a tendency to lean into it. I wouldn't put it beyond Trump or someone in the administration to suspend mail delivery in certain areas for ballots, because that was part of the issue and part of the problems that we had last time. Remember all of those ballots that were supposedly brought in by truck into certain locations, only to be verified those were mail-in ballots, sometimes from people out of state and such. So that happens all the time and has happened regularly. This is the problem that I have at the core. In many cases, this is operating off the assumption that the elections are unsecure, despite proof to the contrary. And then we're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist.
You're talking about the Democrats?
Universally. Republicans as well. They're mad about it as well. They're mad about the idea that, hey, if we don't have voter ID, then obviously the elections aren't secure. We have not seen widespread fraud available to us throughout the country. So the idea that it's insecure, I'm not against the idea of tightening. I'm not against tightening rules, but it's done based on the premise that we already have rampant fraud that hasn't been proved.
This is what the Democrats are doing. They're concerned Trump's going to use the Postal Service to stop mail-in ballots, so we got to get ahead of it. There's no comment. Has he ever said that? There's no effort.
No,
and so they're out there going, now we got to mail it 29 days ahead of time. You want to talk about conspiracy theories? Here it is.
Well, I would say that the conspiracy theory, while you may be correct from the Democrats about whether or not the president and the administration that leans heavily already onto a conspiracy of election fraud and stolen elections, still years later saying that it was stolen as recently as a couple weeks ago. So that's kind of the boilerplate topic for the president. So again, if we're talking about degrees of conspiracy theories, the Republicans win. And I agree that the Democrats are doing something that is rather silly. And I don't think it gets them to the point that they want for precisely what you're talking about. How many of us are able to track where that ballot is just for the few weeks that it sits at your house before mailing it in? How many times have you turned to your kids, maybe in the house that are 18, maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's roommates, and gone, oh, crap, I got to drop those ballots off. I can't even mail them right now. Where did we put them? How many times has that conversation gone on?
You're making a great argument for having a single day national holiday that we all go vote in person. Because, yes, that's right, we do lose those. But look at how complicated this is. Not only are they taking and looking at contingencies and now having a 29-day voting period in Colorado, they're also looking at FedEx and UPS and couriers, all these things that they can do, in addition to adding extra time. But what really gets me going in this is that beyond just adjusting the ballot mailing time, 9 News writes, it would repeal a state law that allows any individual to challenge another person's voter registration status. Clerks have said that the National Voter Registration Act addresses clean voter rolls and that the state law that currently exists is being weaponized to flood their offices with unsubstantiated challenges against the voter rolls. Bottom line, Jenna Griswold is all angry that she lost a case to Judicial Watch and Tom Fitton, and so they want to change the law so that nobody else can challenge voter rolls except for, I guess, the people themselves. This seems like an important check that they're trying to sneak in here under the guise that, well, people are challenging it too much. It's just too much of a burden upon us. All right, Democrats, if that's what you want to do, stop showing up every week at an ICE detention facility, because that's all you're doing there. We're providing oversight and showing up every week. But if that is an allowable burden and you're allowed to do that because you have oversight, you should be allowed to challenge voter rolls, and organizations like Judicial Watch should be able to do that. I mean, Jenna Griswold lost a case. Are you okay with taking away that right, Bill, to challenge the voter rolls?
No, I think that's a silly thing, and I do think you're right about the Democrats not being honest about their reasons for wanting to change that. But I can see it also being, from county clerk's offices, problematic, depending on who's doing it, because in any industry, you've run up against that super, super squeaky wheel that sometimes does things just to muck up the system. And so I can see a problem with it, but is it going to be overwhelmingly burdensome? I don't believe so. And I think it is silly for the Democrats to be worried about, getting out the mail-in ballots as quickly as possible, because if there is a challenge or there's something that says, no, we can't use mail-in ballots in this next election, Trump can't accomplish that based on executive order. It can't be done that way because executive orders do not have the power and force of law, and executive orders can also not countermand what's in the Constitution. And outlined clearly in the Constitution, the states run the elections. So I think that you are correct that the Democrats are operating off of a conspiracy theory about what Trump has the potential to do without it being actual reality. And they're doing it in many ways the same way that the GOP does in order to create scares about widespread voter fraud. And that's why we all have to tighten up these election rules and show up on one day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Both sides are doing it, but you're correct. The Democrats are creating an outsized issue that Trump, based on how our government functions, cannot change that rule based on his executive order alone. He would have to get people like our former guest from last hour, Gabe Evans, to vote on that. Gabe would have to cast an affirmative ballot inside of the Congress, inside of the House, to say that we can't use mail-in ballots anymore. He would have to vote for that and then explain it to his district.
What do you think? Join the conversation at 303-696-1971. Change is coming to how you vote in Colorado. Your ballot may sit on your countertop for now 29 days. And if you're an independent organization out there and wants to challenge a person's voter registration status, you might not be able to do it anymore. That's what they're trying to do in Colorado. What are they trying to hide? And then, Bill, the third part of this would require the governor to fill any U.S. Senate vacancy with a person from the same political party as the departing senator, closing a gap that currently allows the governor to appoint a member of the opposing party. You think they should be required?
I don't know. I have a problem with it being an absolute requirement, but I can see the issue that if for whatever reason you had someone that was of a different party than the governor would just take that opportunity to say, hey, I'm just going to hand this to the other political party, regardless of what the voters say. The idea that we have a seat that is based on voter representation and then we allow anybody to appoint it, I think is stupid. The whole idea of appointment, I think, is dumb. It should just be run in a different special election. I find it fascinating that we go, no, power of the people. You got to go to the voter, except in these cases. Let this one guy who won one election choose. I think that's stupid. But, I'm weird.
We'd love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Folks, let's talk game day men's health. Got my report right here. Guys, as you get older, things change. Maybe you haven't been feeling like yourself. You're more tired, more fatigued, more stressed than you want to admit. And we hear it all the time. Men are feeling that the spark of energy just isn't there anymore. Lower energy means feeling like you just can't get out of second gear. The brain fog was the big issue for me. That's why Billy and I both went to Game Day Men's Health, got to sit down with them. Their motto, helping guys be better dads, better husbands, and better men. Billy, take it away.
Yeah, see, we are so excited to be working with Game Day Men's Health. In fact, I'm swinging by the office after the show this morning to get my weekly testosterone shot. It's going to take me just a couple of minutes. It is so easy. I can't get through the drive-through at a fast food place as quickly as I can get this T-shot as I'm walking in doing regular maintenance at Game Day Men's Health. That's the type of service that you get, and Jeff does it in the privacy of his own home. He has the medication shipped to him, and he takes care of it on his time frame. So they have a solution that'll fit with you, but here's the most important part. The testosterone check to find out if that's the reason why you have feeling that lethargy, why you've been having that brain fog, why it feels like you just can't deal with some of the stresses in the day. It's done right there in the office, and it's free. You'll find out in just a few minutes what your number is, and then they can explore possible treatment options. They have a wide range of data-driven solutions that will be customized to you. And the best thing is, you're not signing a long-term contract. This is a month-to-month deal because Game Day Men's Health is so certain of how good their tests are and how good this treatment is, they're not going to lock you down. They're going to have proof positive. From month to month, the change is there. Would you go ahead and sign up with a doctor or some sort of procedure that says you're going to have to pay for the entire year and we don't know if this is going to work yet for you or not? No, you wouldn't. That's what those other bigger clinics you hear about too. That's not what Game Day Men's Health does. This is the best part about it. They've got locations all over the Denver Metro, Aurora, Cherry Creek, Parker, Inglewood, Thornton, but it's so easy to find the one near you and to make an appointment for that free testosterone check. Go to GameDayKNUS.com, GameDayKNUS.com, and make your appointment. Find out what your number is. There's no harm, no foul. Then you can make the best choice for you, and if it's the right data-driven solution with Game Day Men's Health, they're there for you. It's a small business franchisees that are operating all these clinics with a national footprint. It's the best of both worlds. National reach, while that small entrepreneur attention to detail and focus on you, the customer. These are the people that we trust. Go check out Game Day Men's Health. Make your appointment today. GameDayKNUS.com. GameDayKNUS.com. You're feeling a little tired in the afternoon. Find out what your T number is. These guys can make a difference.
All right, we'll continue. More of the Jeff and Bill Show, plus phone lines hot as the Democrats seek to expand mail-in balloting. So it's not 22 days, now 29 days, believing that Donald Trump may use the post office to sabotage the election. Is that where the real conspiracy theory is? Or are they smart? Let's just start voting 60 days ahead of an election. It's an election quarter here on the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS in Denver.
And now on AM 1460 FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where your both sides talk. Look at that phone ringing behind me. I'm going to talk to them in a sec. Hopefully it's your call. This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
.710 KNUS in Denver.
And on AM 1460 FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show, where you get both sides of an issue. And Democrats down at the state capitol going, hey, you know that mail-in ballots you get 22 days before the election? It's now going to arrive possibly 29 days before an election. They're worried. Donald Trump's going to use the post office to stop your ballots from going in. It seems like a bit of a conspiracy theory. I haven't seen anything come from Trump with regards to shutting down ballots via the post office, but Democrats down there really doubling down on mail-in ballots, and they want to change things with regards to how you can challenge a person's voter registration status. They want to take that away so groups like Judicial Watch and Tom Fitton couldn't challenge the voter rolls in court. It could only be done by individual people challenging their own status. This seems a little unclear to me, but it seems like an effort, in my mind, to stop accountability from taking place. Let's go to the phone lines. Joe in Arvada. Good morning, Joe. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, Jeff, Billy. Well, I want to short-circuit it and help the Democrats a little bit. What we should do is go ahead and just divide up all the mail-in ballots to the harvesting folks. So, for instance, all school employees and workers, all those ballots can be sent to Denver Public School Board and friends, and they can just fill everything out and mail it in for us. That way, we save time. We don't have to look at anything. We can have dead people go to, Pat Schroeder's office and Left for Dead, the group for the dead folks. Anyway, we could also do things like, just mass bulk mail them all the final ballots that, don't have a home can go to, Jenna Griswold and Governor Polis, and they can get all the, feminazis and LGBTQ groups together and fill out whatever they feel like is necessary to make any amendments. And just to get a token group in for us, send 10% of the ballots to Turning Point Action Committee, have them fill them out. And you know what? We don't even need the mail. Just drive them into the office and then post the results.
Yeah, at this point, why not just let them vote for us, right?
Exactly.
I mean, what do you make of this? I hate the idea that the elections are already 22 days. 29 days. That thing's going to sit on people's counters for a month. And if you're a candidate, when is Election Day in Colorado? At this point, I don't even know when is Election Day.
Well, you got to have a little more time to get to all those nursing homes and pick up all those ones that are sitting on the door. I'll tell you what, when Jenna Griswold, and not just Jenna Griswold, but virtually every blue state, they don't want you to see who they're mailing these things to. Now, why is that? Anybody?
I'm not sure what your point is on that one. What?
Why do they not want you to know who are they mailing all the mail-in ballots to? Why do they not want you to know that?
What do you we've got voter registration. I don't understand what you think that you're going to discover. Do you think that you are going to discover that idea that they're mailing thousands and thousands to one location and they're filling them out? Because Joe, hang on, Joe. What I'm asking about that is that then means that location has to have registered thousands of people fraudulently and also be able to replicate their signatures. In order to register
I'm not saying any of that.
Joe, in order to register those people fraudulently, they would also have to provide some sort of ID. So
I'm not saying any of that.
I don't know what
even though we all get those ballots that are mailed to, Jacob Jingleheimer Smith is living at this address.
But is that like a lottery ticket that you find on the ground and you can walk into the store and then redeem it? Is it the same or is it different?
Here's what I'm saying
Joe,
you.
Answer my question. Please answer my question.
I am
is it the same
your
or not?
Question.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm answering your question. But by a little bit of a thought process instead of just your quick, snappy yes or no. I think there's a problem when all the red states are willing to show the voter rolls, but all the blue states are not willing to show the voter rolls. Why is that?
I don't think you're answering you're not answering my question.
Well, let me answer your question.
You're trying to change the
I'll
question.
answer your question. The reason that the blue states don't want to show their voter rolls is because their voter rolls have millions of ballots going to people that are dead, that are not living here, that are illegal, and they don't want you to see that.
Why didn't any of the audits or any of the investigations turn that up, Joe, if it's so self-evident?
They have.
No, they haven't.
Oh, yeah.
Your guy,
many.
and other guys don't have any of that,
obviously,
man.
you don't do a lot of research online. Many people have gone to the addresses that are listed, and they find 25 ballots going to a house and nobody living there. It's been happening over and over and over. How many do you need to see before you believe it?
Yeah, the issue is that most of those stories are complete and total BS.
Nonsense.
No, there was one where it was a whole idea that there recently, and I forget the state. There were a whole bunch of people.
So how many addresses have you gone to?
That's incredibly cute, but not what we're talking about, because how many addresses have you gone to? Because didn't you just... Hang on, Joe.
That's the answer.
Joe.
You've done no investigation. None.
Joe, didn't you just a moment ago...
All you've done is surfed your left-leaning websites for the standard mail-in ballot answer.
Says the guy that just a moment ago said he did the internet research to find out all of his facts. So one moment ago, Joe, a moment ago, the internet was the truth sayer and the oracle that gave you the proof you were looking for the voter fraud. And now, moments later, the internet is invalid. You know, you've got to circle. You've got
Georgia.
You have got to figure. You've got to figure out exactly what your narrative is, Joe, before you come on here and start laying down layers of BS.
But you guys don't want to look at the proof. You don't want to look at the Georgia proof.
How many times do they recount Georgia? How many times do they do it? How many
they're
times
showing
they
it right now. Don't you see? They had to get a court order to go in there and actually physically get in there and look, because you lefties will not let us take a peek at the fraud.
Yeah,
that's right.
In a county,
fraud, buddy.
In a county that they recounted twice, and they did an audit, and they did a hand count,
dude.
And they did a hand count, Joe, and they did audits twice, and that didn't show it, and the affidavit that they used to justify the search didn't include the counter information they were needed to. And thanks for the call, Joe, and go do more research on the internet that obviously isn't true that you say. I don't know what's going on here. Nobody wants to answer a question. And before you talk about all those registration people voting that are registered to one address, let's go to the great investigative journalistic work recently of Nick Shirley. He put out something talking about people registered at a UPS address. There were like 20 or 30 ballots going there. Well, above the UPS address is an apartment building. Just like where your office is, your apartment building, all share the same street address.
Didn't a dog get registered to vote in California?
Yeah, but guess what happened? That was a Republican that registered her dog, and the dog was not allowed to vote, and it was caught before it went through the system. So while she filled out, while she filled out the paperwork, never cast a ballot, never was counted. So that would be proof positive of the system working. Oddly enough, that would be the system working.
Feel free to join the conversation. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Folks, let's talk Gyrie's. They're all over the Denver metro area. My wife and I went to the one in Parker, and it was an absolutely fantastic experience. We got to sit down with their professional designer who showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. I was a little overwhelmed at first, but the designer was the pro. She walked us through everything and helped us find the perfect option to enhance the look and functionality of our home. So whether your curtains are clashing or you just want a fresh look, Gyrie's has the solution for you. Their designers are the experts, and they can help you with everything from window treatments to full room decor. And here's the best part. They offer a personalized in-home consultation. They'll come directly to you. They come out with lasers. They come out with paint samples. They come out with window treatment samples, so you can see what it's going to look like in your home. Why keep running to those big box stores 8, 10, 15 times to try to put up blinds or something or get cheap ones online? Don't do it. Go to Gyrie's. They work like magic. I love our blinds every single day. Get the same expert advice in your home that we got in ours. Do yourself a favor. Get started today. Visit GuyRees.com to schedule your in-home consultation. That's GUIRYS.com. Go see the great people at Guy Rees. You'll be sure to thank me. More of the Jeff and Bill Show to come. You're listening to us on 710 KNUS in Denver.
And waking up with 1460 AM and FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. This is where we hear both sides. Kathy from Hudson is up next. This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
Love me some AC/DC. 710 KNUS in Denver.
And now AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range, this is the Jeff and Bill Show, where you hear both sides of an issue. And boy, are we debating that right now. Channel 9 reporting that there's a new bill at the Colorado State Capitol that would send your ballot even earlier. Right now it's 22 days. They want to get it up to 29 days. They're running around like chickens with their heads cut off, scared that Donald Trump's going to use the post office to stop mail-in ballots. Well, I think mail-in ballots are totally stupid and open for fraud, and we're carpet bombing the entire state with these ballots. I don't see any evidence that Trump has said we're going to use the post office to stop them. And what frustrates me is I don't know what election day is in Colorado anymore. What is it? When is it? When's election day in Colorado? It's not. It's an entire month now. 29 days? Are you kidding me? Declare election day a national holiday. Everybody goes and votes in person. They use an ID, and we're done with all this. We're just done with the stupidity of these debates. And not only that, they're trying to find ways to get FedEx to deliver ballots, UPS, other couriers. Good night. I hope you can love God and have as much devotion to Jesus Christ as Democrats do to mail-in ballots. Because that, my friends, that is devotion. Let's go to the phone lines. Kathy in Hudson. Good morning, Kathy. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Yes, actually, after the 2020 election, I did volunteer to do the election sites. And you know that you only have to put an X on your ballot? You don't have to sign it. So this signature verification really means nothing.
I always wondered that.
I don't know about that, Kathy. I don't think that's true because if
It says so right on your ballot.
But the thing is, your signature has to match what they have on file. If you put an X on it, it goes through adjudication. My understanding of talking to people like Matt Crane and other county clerks, that if it comes through and it's just an X on it, then there is an adjudication process that it goes through. It gets kicked out because the signature doesn't match, and then they come to you and try to verify with you if this is your actual ballot. And then if you verify with them that you did it, then the X is okay, and they send it through the system.
But you know what? I'm not going to debate with you because you're a professional debater. But I did volunteer, and I was there, and all you have to do is put an X.
Some would say Bill is master at the debating skills.
Yeah, but after the X, what happened, Kathy, with the ballot?
I don't know. I didn't do that department.
Oh.
Because you're not, you know, I'm just a regular citizen.
Okay. So, yeah, you didn't know what happens afterwards. Okay. That's
fair. I don't. But I know that all you do is put an X.
Kathy, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Kathy's line is open if you want to jump in on this debate. 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Bill, while Colorado debates mail-in ballots versus mail-in in, or voting in person versus ID, all that stuff, I think we can all agree that the Black Eyed Pea is incredible.
Oh, yes.
For food. I love this restaurant, locally owned and operated by Stephen Michelle. My whole family loves it, all three generations, my parents, us, the kids. I know yours will as well. They have 9 locations. There's sure to be one near you. They recently opened in Fort Collins. You can visit them at 807 East Harmony Road. This is the restaurant you want to take the family to, the Black Eyed Pea, home-style cooking worth going out for. They make everything from scratch, slow-cooked pot-roasted meatloaf. Oh, so good. Chicken fried steak and chicken tenderloins, grilled salmon, and grilled or fried shrimp, roasted turkey breast, and glazed ham. They've even got daily specials and senior discounts. The Black Eyed Pea has what your family is hungry for. Black Eyed Pea does catering. Your dinner party, rehearsal dinner, wedding reception, or company event will be a success when you look to the Black Eyed Pea. I'm telling you, I love everything about this restaurant. Keep it in Colorado and visit the Black Eyed Pea near you, blackeyedpeacolorado.com. That's blackeyedpeacolorado.com. All right, text messages coming in. Hot on this. Breadman Jenna should have her own posse that delivers and picks up ballots. LOL. At this point, let's take to Joe's point. Why not? 2983. We have a constitution, Jeff. Shouldn't voter turnout be higher if the dead are voting? Okay.
When illegals, they get driver's license. They actually get a valid driver's license, and they're registered to vote at the same time. So with mail-in voting, all they have to do is wait until they get a ballot. They check who they're going to vote for, which they're what's her name, Jana Griswold, will send them out a postcard like she did in 2020, where she sent out 750,000. In 2022, 30,000. She got caught, but nothing ever happened. They never released the names of those people to the Republicans so they could look at those names and verify who they were. So they get to vote. We get illegals to vote in our elections. And you can say whatever you want.
Mark, what I'm going to tell you is they get a different ID. They don't get a valid. But Mark, I'm going to tell you they don't get the same.
Let me finish.
No, they don't.
Let me finish, and then you can talk.
No,
Mark.
Let
me finish, and then you can talk. And then
okay,
you can
guess
talk.
It's a Mark show. Go right ahead, Mark.
Time.
Welcome to the Mark Show.
Okay.
Go ahead. Say more stuff that's incorrect, Mark.
Okay. They get valid driver's license.
It's not true.
And they're registered to vote at that time.
Not
and
true.
then they get mail-in ballots. Yes, it's true.
Not true. That's not true, Mark. They do not get the same driver's license that a U.S. citizen gets. It's a different license, and it said not valid for voting on it. And the system does not put them into the regular voter rolls. There are human mistakes, but if we did see large groups of illegals, that would be shown in many of the audits that are done post-election by county clerks. And the county clerks, most of them in Colorado, are Republican. So unless you think the Republicans are in on this, getting all the illegals to vote, come on. I mean, seriously.
Mark, I'll give you the final word.
Then why does Jana Griswold, why will she not give the voter rolls to the federal government?
Why do the federal government need the voter rolls? What's the reason?
So they can verify if the people are registered American citizens.
They absolutely have that right to do so.
What proof do they have that there is widespread voter fraud with illegals voting? There isn't a single research project that has shown that.
Wouldn't you need the rolls to get the proof? All right. Mark at Louisville, I appreciate it. We got jam-packed phone lines. Let's try to get through these. Barney, Denver. Good morning, Barney. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Hey, Jeff and Bill. I love it when the caller tells you guys to shut up. I just think that's just freaking awesome. Remember,
today's been different.
Rosen had the hold button. Like Mr. Rosen would say, here's the hold button, buddy. But anyway, look, with all due respect, I'm in El Paso County. My daughter's a flaming liberal. Sometimes I would have her sign my ballot, and my signature is literally a B, a line, a C, and a line. And when she'd sign my name, it would come back and they'd question it. They'd send me an email, blah, blah, blah. Now, I don't know. I still don't like mail-in ballots, but I can tell you right now, my signature is as simple as it gets. And they questioned it when my daughter did it. That's all I'm saying. So you're just wrong. And like I said, I'm with Jeff. One day, one vote. And if it's so dang important, why isn't that a big deal? Democrats like I don't know if Colorado is messed up. I do know that Republicans let this go blue. We can blame the Republicans for this. It wasn't just Democrats. But it's a rock-solid blue state now, and there's probably not much we can do about it. Just saying, Jeff. Sorry to say that, but
well,
it is what it is,
It's good
man.
job security for me because we get to talk about the craziness that they keep passing.
Yeah, it is.
Here comes
now
prostitution.
You guys hold a little more on your stupid-ass callers. Good God. See ya.
Hey, thanks, Barney. Appreciate it. Haven't heard from you in a while. That's great. I love Barney.
Always good to hear from Barney.
Barney's wonderful.
He's got a perfect voice for radio.
Yeah,
by the
he
way.
does.
All
He's
right,
great.
let's we'll get to Lewis here and Dan Caplis with Dan Caplis Law. If you want your case to be taken seriously, you should choose a firm that is taken seriously. Dan Caplis Law is taken seriously. Dan Caplis Law is a real trial firm and proves the truth when the insurance carrier does not play ball. Goodness, does not pay all that is should in an out-of-court settlement. Dan Caplis is the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 11 straight seven-figure jury verdicts, including a record $205 million jury verdict in a wrongful death case and the largest truck crash jury verdict in Colorado history. Dan Caplis Law is a serious firm for serious cases. They accept righteous injury and death cases on a percentage fee basis. There are no upfront fees and no charge for an initial consultation. Dan Caplis Law has offices in Denver, Greeley, Loveland, and Fort Collins. If you want your case to be taken seriously, call Dan 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551.